VASIANTV presents.
Welcome to Wines du Jour. We're on the road this week and down in Baja, California, where you should come down and visit. You know, Baja, California has been getting or has gotten in the last few years some fairly bad press because everybody says if you go to Mexico, you're taking your life in your own hands. Well, Baja, California, which is that little peninsula directly under the state of California, is really not a major problem. They have hardly any problems whatsoever down here. So it's safer here, I can tell you, than a lot of parts of LA, Chicago, Las Vegas, San Francisco, etc. So come on down and have a good time. People down here are wonderful. We're at the Rosarito Beach Hotel, and we're going to their gourmet room this evening. We have 125 sold-out invited guests doing a 5-course meal with 3 wines from Madera 5 here in Guadalupe Valley in Mexico. You didn't know that there was wine in Mexico, probably. That's okay. Guadalupe Valley is about 35 miles east of Ensenada. It's been here for quite a while. A few years ago, when we came down for our very first show, we actually had 57 wineries at Guadalupe Valley. Today, there are 84. Unbelievable. And I have to say, a good majority of them are very, very nice wines. They're starting to call Guadalupe Valley the Napa Valley of Mexico. Pretty cool. So stay with us. We've got some good food. We've got some great wines. You're going to meet the winemaker. You're going to meet a very interesting chef that does interior decorating and a lot of different things. So now I'm going to introduce you to my guests. Come on with me. Welcome back to Wines du Jour. I promised you that I'd introduce you to our guest tonight. I have 2 very talented people sitting next to me. One of them is the gentleman that's responsible for some excellent wines coming out of Guadalupe Valley that I mentioned a little bit earlier. Guadalupe Valley is an enormous place, but one of the standouts is Madera 5 Winery. And of course, the person in charge of that is Dr. Miguel Ortiz. Dr. Miguel, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your fine wines with us this evening.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
Good. And my other guest, I want to introduce you to her before I talk to Dr. Miguel, is Bo Bandana. This lady is very talented in many ways, and she's responsible for the food this evening. So we're going to talk about that individually as the time comes. Bo, thank you very much for joining us and for making sure that we have some great food to go with some very good wines.
Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. Listen, I want to ask you a question, Dr. Miguel. Tell me a little bit about how you got into the business. We know your wines are wonderful, but you didn't start out being a #1 person. You started out trying to decide the difference between white wine and red wine.
Correct. Correct.
How did that happen in your life?
The thing is that in Ensenada, everything is involved with wine.
Right.
Parties, the graduations, weddings, everything is around the wine. The artists go around the wine. So we wanted to be part of this beautiful city, which gives us good grape and good weather, everything. So we wanted to have our own wine. So 5 friends got together, and in the garage we started with 5 barrels. Because we didn't know how much we were going to do. We did some extra, decided to sell it, and then we sold everything. And then next year we did more, and that's up to what we're doing now.
Well, you know, it's amazing with wineries when they get started. You know, they don't normally start out with a lot of volume, let's call it. And the second and third years are usually a little bit confusing because if they sold out the first year, they're not sure how much they should make the second year. And a lot of them don't own their own vineyard, so they have to go buy the grapes. And trying to find good grapes when you only have maybe 6 or 8 months to order them is not always an easy thing from a winemaker's standpoint. Okay, let's move over to Bo for a second. Born in Morocco.
Yes.
What a beautiful thing. And the food there is superb. In fact, you brought some of that Moroccan flair to our dinner this evening. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, I created this combination that people just really liked and responded pretty well to, which I call it Moroxican, which is Moroccan and
Moroxican,
Mexican.
that's cool.
So it's Mexican ingredients, some Mexican flavors, but a lot of my spices come from Morocco. All my recipes are from my grandfather and my mom. So there are things that I've been cooking for the last 2 decades. It's just now everybody else gets to taste it.
Well, you know, one of the things about where we are now in Baja California, and that is, you know, the fresh fruits and vegetables are everywhere in this particular area. And every chef that I've met is extremely concerned that everything they get to their restaurant is fresh. Fresh means tasting good, and all this stuff down here is really good. If you haven't been to Baja California in a while, make sure you come down here. It's beautiful. It's only about 25 or 30 miles south of Tijuana, and you'll be in Rosarito Beach, the Rosarito Beach Hotel. They not only have a beach and a beautiful hotel, they also have their own pier, the only pier that I know of in this whole area. So come on down and check it out. We'll be back right after these messages.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back. You know, every week here on Wines du Jour, we feature 3 wines and we pair food with each one of those 3 wines. And tonight is no real exception, except that we're on the road in Rosarito Beach. But the first food that we're going to have, Bo has put together something that she just simply calls a citrus salad with silver mint, pea sprouts, honey glazed pecans, chai seeds, arragon, and oil vinaigrette. Sounds like something you do every day. Tell us a little bit about it. It looks beautiful.
Thank you. It's actually pretty easy. The special part there is the argan oil. Argan oil is one of the most expensive oils in the world, and it's for a reason. It comes from a small region in Morocco, and it takes over 5 decades for the trees to start growing the actual seeds. So it's very rare, and it just the flavor of it alone just makes a huge difference when you add it to any dressing. So
Right.
it's nutty, it's yummy. You could smell it. The scent is so strong, and when you mix it with something citrusy like oranges or grapefruit, the combination is spectacular.
Okay, that sounds great. I can't wait to try it. But before we do that, though, let's talk a little bit about the wine. Now, I have to tell you, folks, this first wine is very unique for me, and I think for most Americans. It is not uncommon for the people in Mexico because they're used to this. Let me tell you why. They take one of my favorite white wines to go with food, Sauvignon Blanc, and the most consumed white wine in the whole world, Chardonnay, and they blend the two together to come up with something that's going to go very well with this. Dr. Miguel, tell us a little bit about how you did it and why.
Well, we like the smell, the nose of the Sauvignon Blanc. And when you smell it, you will know why we pair it with this salad. And
That
then
nose is different. I'm sorry. That nose is definitely very different and tasty.
it has a lot of a red apple,
Uh-huh.
has citrus, has a pineapple.
Citrus.
Citrus.
Nice, yeah.
So that's why it goes very well. And the Chardonnay is to give a little bit body to the Sauvignon Blanc,
Yeah.
and it still keeps this transparent, this clear looking of the wine.
I think that's a good idea. I know it sounds crazy for a lot of people probably, but you know what they say, don't knock it till you've tried it. And I'm telling you, if you'll try the combination, now if I'm not mistaken, this is like 85% Sauvignon Blanc, 15% Chardonnay.
You're correct. And when you smell it, you think it's gonna be kind of sweet, but at the end, it's really, really dry.
Absolutely, and you know, it fills your mouth with flavor. That's the beautiful thing. I'm dying to try. Let's all take a taste of your salad and see what happens here.
Let me get it closer to you.
There you go.
I'll hold it.
Okay. Now, I've had this
Whoa,
many times,
this
so
is good.
thank you.
You know what? This combination is extremely good. When you taste the salad and take a little taste of this Madeira 5 wine, you're going to know what pairing is all about. And that's truly, in my opinion, what it is all about. Wine is food. So we treat wine as another food, and we put the two together, and it's going to work out really well. Well, that's about all the time we have for number one. We'll come back with number two right after these messages.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back. You know, one of the things that winemakers generally have a problem with is finding quality product to make wine out of. I know that sounds kind of silly to some people, but you'll be amazed at the difference in quality in different grapes. And I don't mean varietals, I'm talking about where they're grown. One of the things that most people aren't aware of when they don't even know about Guadalupe Valley is that a lot of the grapes that are grown here in Baja California are not necessarily grown in Guadalupe Valley. Why? The terroir just south of Ensenada is absolutely outstanding. And Chef Miguel and his crew have found a wine grower, or grape grower I should say, that makes all the stuff work well. They've been using those grapes right along. Tell us a little bit about it if you would, Dr. Miguel.
Yes, we bring our grapes, most of them except the Sangiovese, from San Vicente Valley, which is south from Ensenada, which has much more water, and so it's less mineral than the grapes from Guadalupe Valley. So when you taste the grapes from Guadalupe Valley, they will have a mineral scent, and the ones from San Vicente don't have. So that's why we decided to bring our grapes from there, except for the Sangiovese, which is outstanding grape that only can get that quality in Valle Guadalupe.
Well, you know, Sangiovese is the name of the varietal. That's half of what we have here tonight. Cabernet Sauvignon and Sangiovese. Sangiovese, as I'm sure you figured out just by the name, is an Italian grape. It comes from the Tuscany region mostly, which is the northwest part of Italy. And I have to tell you, the Sangiovese is one of my favorite varietals. It's also used a lot in making something we know as Chianti, which is obviously an Italian wine. But This wine here is beautiful. This is a 2012 release, and it comes from Madera 5 Winery. Dr. Miguel and his staff have put this together, and I'm really anxious to try it. But before we do that, let's introduce this dish that's sitting here on the plate in front of me. I'm sure you know that a lot of people use something called phyllo dough to make a lot of different dishes. And when you use phyllo dough, typically we'll put a little butter between the layers and it kind of flakes up a little bit. It's beautiful. Well, that's what they've done here. But guess what's inside? No, not turkey, not beef, not chicken, quail. Can you imagine? Quail inside a little phyllo dough. Well, I'm going to ask Bo if she'd tell us a little bit about this. Comes from your country of Morocco specifically?
Yes, in Morocco they use chicken, they use pigeon, they call it pigeon pie.
Sure.
But Mexico, they have great quail,
Yes.
and especially the organic stuff that I can get just right here locally. So I try to use the local ingredients. So this is something that's common for weddings in Morocco because it's very time consuming because you have to cook the quail at a low temperature for hours and then layer it with caramelized onions and then the toasted almonds, and of course we make everything from scratch, so it's pretty time consuming, but in the end it's a lot of goodness wrapped up in a flaky dough. So I hope you enjoy it.
Well, I'm sure we will. This is going to be a unique thing to not only do on TV, but we're going to make sure everybody understands what's inside this beautiful dish here.
Yeah, so we layer it. So inside there's caramelized onions, there are the toasted almonds, and then you got all the quail inside.
All right, well, this looks great. First, I want to taste the wine by itself.
Okay.
Then I want to try this dish with it, and then the two together, okay?
Yeah.
Salud.
Salud.
Now, you know, Sangiovese has a nice, big, full-bodied flavor, but then so does Cabernet. So when you put the two together, you expect to have an explosion in your mouth. You don't. You have a nice, full flavor in your mouth, but it's not negative. It's all positive. And I have to tell you, the finish here, Doctor, is really very tasty.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about how you put that together.
Well, Sangiovese is a very light wine. That's why the color is pale.
Uh-huh.
So we think that it takes a little bit out of the Cabernet from the part that probably some people wouldn't like, the roughness of the Cabernet. It makes it go smooth, but it respects the power of the Cabernet because it has very good wood barrels, oak barrels, and it gives very fine tanninos. And that's why we decided to do this kind of, it's our friendliest of our wines. Easy to drink. You can drink it any day. It has no problem.
With almost anything. This would go good with pizza. You know what I'm saying? This is really a nice wine to go with good food, and that's really what we're talking about. Fresh ingredients, made properly, is going to go with it very well. I mean, most people would think quail doesn't call for a big red wine. Well, I have to tell you, I haven't tasted it yet, but I know darn good and well, this Basia is going to be very tasty with this wine. So let's try to take a little taste here. I'm going to check this quail out for sure.
Let me get it closer to you.
Wow. Toasted almonds really stand out, which is good. And I know it's going to help this wine taste even better.
The nuttiness of the toasted almonds and the sweetness of the caramelized onions. It is a combination of sweet and savory, which is something common in Morocco.
Caramelized onions and toasted almonds with a little quail and phyllo dough. How bad can that possibly be? What kind of a price would we expect here in Baja California to pay for this at a store? Not on special, just a regular price.
In our warehouse, you would pay $27 for the Cabernet Sangiovese.
$27, holy cow. Well, I wish you had it in America. I'm going to try to talk you into doing that a little bit later, because I can tell you, a lot of these Mexican wines need to be available in your local retail store. So keep your eye out for it. Ask the store manager or the owner of the store to pick up some Mexican wines, because there's some beauties available if they go after them. Okay, that's about it. We will be back right after these messages.
Switch Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back. You know, one of the great things about owning a winery or running one, such as Dr. Miguel here, he has an opportunity to pick grapes, varietals that he happens to like. Well, he's done it again. Not only did he have a beauty that we just tasted with the Sangiovese along with Cabernet Sauvignon, but he's also taken Cabernet Sauvignon and gone all the way over to Spain for Tempranillo, which is where that grape came from. That's also planted south of Ensenada, I understand, and it blended the two together. Tell us a little bit about this wine.
Well, we wanted to have wines from all around the world. Actually, we started with
It's working.
with a Cabernet Merlot, and then came back to Tempranillo Cabernet, and then we kept that one because that's in the like of most people. That's the wine most people like, and we have our Spanish background.
Got it.
So people like that, and it's really, it's something it's in the middle of a very strong wine and a very mild wine like the one we tried.
Yeah, and the two together have to go with, I mean, I'm not going to say barbecue, not in Mexico, but I'm going to say something instead, something simple like, if I can figure it out, brisket. You know, brisket's made in many different ways. If you're Jewish, one of the favorite dishes that you probably consume every year is brisket done your way. If you do barbecue, like we do all over the United States, brisket is certainly one that we smoke and do what we call low and slow heat for a long 14, 15-hour period of time. But down here in Mexico, brisket is also very popular. And Bo has put together a dish that she's going to tell us a little bit about how she did that.
It's similar to barbacoa, which is what they make here in Mexico. It's very similar in the way they cook it. But of course, I fell in love with the olives in Mexico. They're so close to what I grew up with. They're so small, they're so flavorful, they're not very salty. So they're just full of flavor, and of course I preserve my own lemons because everybody does that in Morocco. So it's just a simple recipe with the tanginess of lemons and the boldness of brisket, and I just felt like it was the right pairing with
well, that's good that you say that, because not only are olives something that you should definitely pursue when you're cooking on an everyday basis, whether you do Mediterranean style or Moroccan style or Mexican style, olives are something that you should have in a recipe. One of the important things that Bo mentioned, not only the olives that I think everybody should know a lot more about, but really preserved lemons. Now, there's a whole lot of people that have heard that term, have no clue what it is. But you know what? Get your whatever cookbook you have around and get a recipe for preserved lemons and try making it. It's not difficult to do, but at the end of the macerating period, you're going to find it was well worth the time and effort. Now, there's more than one kind of lemon. Everybody's familiar with that, I'm sure. So make sure that you get a good quality lemon to go in this dish of making preserved lemons. And then if you actually Google preserved lemons, I have never tried it, but I can tell you, if you Google it, you'll find all kinds of recipes featuring preserved lemons, and you'll be happy that you did. And that's a good important thing that I think should go along with it. Now, these wines, we haven't tasted them yet because it's a combination, as I mentioned earlier, of Tempranillo and Cabernet Sauvignon. Tempranillo coming to us directly from Spain. Cabernet Sauvignon is definitely the famous red wine that more people consume in the whole world than any other. So it comes from France. We know that for sure. But the two together, as Dr. As Dr. Miguel said, it should make a very, very interesting thing. And the taste of this brisket, along with the Cabernet Tempranillo combination, should be good. What kind of percentage? Do you happen to know how much Tempranillo? How much?
60. This year is 60-40. It can vary each year depending on the strength.
Right, depends on each year. Well, these three wines that we featured this evening, Dr. Miguel, are absolutely wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Remember, Madera 5 Winery. Pretty easy to remember. If you're from California, Madera is a town in California. You can remember it that way. And 5 just means they've got 5 wonderful wines and about 7 others as well. So, thank you guys very much. I want to thank the audience for
Thank you.
putting up with our talk this evening and having an opportunity to taste some of Bo's food, Rosarito Beach's hospitality, and Dr. Miguel Ortiz's wine. So until next time, see you later. Thanks a lot.
You have to say salud here in Mexico.
There you go.
Salud.
Salud. Got it.
We're here in Baja California for some really good wine and some fun times, beautiful, beautiful beaches.
I'm very happy to have you again and again. Anytime you want to come back, you're welcome to do on this. The show is great and the hotel looks very good. So much good and nice people to show. So I hope you enjoy your visit.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
This has been a presentation of VATV.